What's up, guys? It's been a while. I'm feeling a lot better now. Finally over the damn flu. So that's really really good news, man. Because I was feeling like shit for a long time there, but finally kicked that. Some nasty shit out there. Birds won the Super Bowl. That's awesome. Beat them freaking cheaters. I'm sure y'all happy about that. Congratulations to the Eagles and all the Eagles fans out there. I love to see it. I was pulling for them the whole way after they knocked my squad out. So the city finally got a Super Bowl. Parade's on Thursday. I'm going to head down there, get some footage for my bro, my cousin that aren't going to be able to make it. So awesome. I think it's great for the city, great for the organization, and we might be looking at a dynasty here for the Eagles. So awesome to see that. You beat Tom Brady. You really got to him. So I'd love to see that. Now it's time to focus on basketball. That football's over. Sucks football's not on for another few months, but we got the draft to look forward to. But whatever. It's Sixers time. We've been off and on. We played good tonight. We've been playing some good ball recently. It was a struggle watching them against Brooklyn. What I think happens, though, is we lay down against these subpar teams. It's like they don't want to put any effort in. There's no hustle. There's no heart when we play teams like that. It's like they don't even want to play these crappy organizations when they're out there because we always struggle with teams that are under 500, and it's just that shouldn't ever happen. If you want to be a great team, you want to be a good organization, you should be able to walk all over these guys because these teams are hungry. They want to go out there and beat you. They have nothing to lose. You have more to prove than them. So you should be able to go out there, take care of business. And you see this a lot with the Warriors, teams like Cavaliers, but they have enough firepower. I think they have enough experience and enough talent to be able to overcome that if they take a quarter off or what have you. We do not. We're not there yet. We're not up, we're not to that upper echelon yet. We have building blocks to get there, but we don't have enough talent or have enough time to take off to just be like take off 2 quarters and be able to have enough firepower to come back because we just don't have it, as you see. We struggle a lot of times where we go on 5 to 6 minute droughts without scoring a point, and it's really frustrating, and it lets teams get back in there. Oh, let me flip this. Damn it, I forgot to do that, but whatever. And you saw it against Brooklyn, like I said. We didn't have a good game against Indiana. They seem to have our number this year, but we beat Miami. That was awesome to see. We had that huge lead, 30-point lead almost. I think it was 28. But it came down to the wire in that game, and that should not have happened. But we went on that struggle where we weren't scoring for 5-6 minutes. We weren't drawing up plays because we get a little stagnant when this happens. When we have a big lead, they like to get really shoot-happy behind the three-point line, which I cannot stand. It drives me insane when they do that. You don't have to continuously jack up threes. Brett should have took a timeout a couple of times in that game. When he didn't, he just let the players run through, but sometimes you got to be a coach and take control of the situation and call a timeout and draw up a play. And when we get stagnant in this offense, we become very predictable. We'll do a give and go with Embiid and Redick, or we'll do a pick and pop with Redick, but it always involves JJ coming off of a screen. And we have to draw up some more offense other than just relying on the pick and pop with JJ or a one-on-one game with JJ. It has to be something else. When you get beat on the block, and the other thing is when we do have him beat on the block, when he's not running around the three-point line, they're going to double team him, and he gets careless with the ball and he loses it. He's got to be able to, one, read that, come out of the double team better, and our guys just kind of stand there, and they just watch him play ball. It's like ISO, like back in the day, back in the 80s and the 90s, and you don't want that. You want your guys constantly moving. You see TJ yelling at the players, like, I can't do this by myself. You have to have guys coming off screens, moving around to give him options to move the ball. So that's things we really need to clean up on. For tonight's game, I thought we played very well. Got a little hairy there for a little bit. We jumped out to a huge lead. We came out. We almost scored 40 points in the first quarter. Thought our defense was fantastic. We were getting up on them. They were not a full team there. They weren't fully loaded. Obviously, John Wall's out. But I still think that the Wizards are a very talented team. Kelly Oubre has stepped up big for that organization. I think he's going to be a great player. It will be interesting to see what happens by Thursday, at the end of the trade deadline, because I've heard rumors that DeAndre is going to be there. I know they don't want to involve him in a trade. Kelly Oubre, I mean. I know they don't want to give up on him, but you're going to have to give something to get something. So we'll have to keep an eye on that to see if DeAndre now comes over to the East. We've already seen Blake. The Clippers are just blowing everything up. They're in a complete rebuild mode. They're starting over from scratch, and it's kind of funny because when DeAndre was going to leave to go to Dallas a few years ago, CP3, and Blake kind of prevented him from going there. So let's keep this core together. And now they're out of there, and he's the only one left stuck there. So you got to be regretting that. Clippers are not a team that's going to be going anywhere. They're in a complete rebuild. They don't really have anything. They've got a few picks now, so maybe they can do something with that. But like I was saying in this game, I keep getting off topic, sorry. But in this game, we shot the three well. I think Dario's been the MVP these past few weeks. He's really put the team on his back. He's played great defense, stingy defense. He's been great on the offensive end. He's improved on his jumper. I think he's really, really getting in a great offensive flow when other guys aren't picking stuff up. So it's huge when we can have him scoring all those points. He had 20 tonight, 2 from 4 from downtown. He does all our dirty work. He plays stingy defense, like I was saying before. He gets the rebounds. He's diving on the floor. Great conservative effort from all around from the homie. Embiid was behind. He wasn't really on the block tonight. He had a couple moves, but he wasn't glued down there. He was around the three-point line. He took 7 threes. He nailed 3 of them. So, that's all right. Like I said, we had 14 threes tonight. We got contributions from everybody. Amir Johnson even hit a 3. I cringe when I see him shoot the ball when it's further than 2 feet away from the basket, but he's been hitting them. I don't want that to be an option at all, but if they're going to go down and teams are going to give us those shots, then you have to take them, even if they're wide open, regardless if it's Amir Johnson or not. JJ was on fire from downtown, 4 or 5. He's always consistent for a good 18 to 20 points a game. And that's why I was happy with that signing. It seems like a lot of fans are not happy with JJ's production. They're not happy with him chipping in 18 to 20 points, but that's huge. I don't know what you want the guy to do. I think that's fantastic. We're getting what we paid for. He's a streaky shooter. Like, a lot of shooters can be. They go on these runs where they can be on fire. We've seen it out of JJ this year. He could go for a night where he goes 0 for 10 from downtown, but you live and die by the shot. That's what's going to happen. But he's consistent for that. Does he turn the ball over sometimes and he's a defensive liability? Yeah, but I think it makes up for his ability to really heat up and knock down any shot on the court. Rocco, though, is becoming way too predictable. All he does is stand behind the three-point line. He has to learn to really put the ball on the floor and go to the hole more, because guys are easily going to know how to defend you if you're just going to stand behind the three-point line and just jack up shots. Even when he's covered, he's just jacking up these horrible shots. He's turning into the Rocco of old, which I was hoping we would not see. But he's been doing it a lot lately, and I cringe when I see that happen. Rob, big fan of you. I'm glad you got paid. He's struggled ever since he's gotten that contract, though. Even defensively, he's been locking it down. I thought he had a good defensive game. He got a few steals. So Rocco really needs to really improve on putting that ball on that floor instead of just standing down behind the three-point line. He was 5 of 12 tonight. It's just, I think he's 2 from 7 from downtown, but he really, really needs to get a post-up game going, maybe, or just anything from jacking up some of them gaudy threes. Ben Simmons was great tonight. I wasn't upset that he didn't make the All-Star game, like I had stated before. I don't think he's an All-Star this year. Yeah, he does have 5 triple-doubles, and that is definitely an accomplishment. But there's been times where he's just completely disappeared. And for a guy, in my opinion, that you really want to make your first year as an all-star, you really put the team on your back in games where he hasn't done that. He's, like I said, he's disappeared. He's not aggressive sometimes. He just completely just wants to give up and just pass the ball all the time. And he's a turnover machine. He tries to force a lot, which I don't think he needs to do. I think he has the ability to not want to, force it in when there's three guys there. You don't have to do that all the time. Just trust yourself, trust your abilities, and just take the rock to the hole. You can get there at any point in time, Ben, as we've seen throughout the season so far. And it's a head game with Ben Simmons. It really is. And you can tell when he's really confident because he's splitting double teams, taking it to the hole, and dunking it over guys. Here's another thing I'm going to harp on, which I've been doing all season, and I'm going to continue to do it. There was a play tonight where there were 3 Sixers under the basket, and we fought for the offensive rebound, which was great, but none of the guys went up and jammed the rock. Just dunk the ball. How hard is it to just go up and dunk the ball? They were taking it. Ben Simmons did that little hook. He was 2 feet away from the basket. He shortchanged it. Amir Johnson was under there, missed it. Completely just flew out of his hands and went straight up and fell back down. Dario, that was a great play by Ben where he split the double team, passed it off to Dario, wide open. I thought he was going to dunk it. He went for a layup, and it bounced off the back of the backboard. Or the back of the rim, I'm sorry. And it missed. Just dunk the ball. Dario barely ever dunks. He's always going for, when he's under the rim, when he gets fed, and he never dunks it. He either goes to the pivot foot and he hesitates, he goes up for the pump fake, and it gets your defender. They're not going to jump because they know you're not going to do it. So it gives them time to recover defensively, and then you end up putting yourself in a bad position, and you go to kiss it off the backboard for an easy layup, and you miss it. Just go up, take it strong, and dunk the ball. Dunk it, get the foul, go to the line for the three-point play. It's not rocket science. You're that big, you're that close. You don't want to chance it by going for a layup or shooting it with one hand or getting double teamed or having the defender straight up. I don't care who you are. If some guy is going to be over you, hovering over you with his arm straight up, it's going to be difficult to make the basket. If you go up strong, though, instead of doing a pump fake, go up strong to dunk the ball, I feel like you have a better chance of scoring. And we just play ourselves out of so many easy buckets. So I hope the coach, Brett, and all the guys, Lloyd, are on, harping on these guys to go up, take it strong, and just dunk the ball. Just please. It's so frustrating to see that when 3 Sixers are there right under the basket and they're all going for layups. Nobody's going to, go up and dunk the ball. Just fucking dunk it. But, again, what killed us tonight was the offensive rebounds. The Wizards had 16. They also had 14 steals. Now, turnovers have been our Achilles heel. Tonight they weren't so much. Like, we were around the league average. We only had 17 tonight. But it was the spots in which the turnovers happened. They were crucial because they put a stop to our fast breaks a lot of the times. We were trying to build on our lead. We got up to a fast lead like we do almost every game. We come out of the gates firing. In the second quarter, we let them get it back in with these stupid turnovers. There was one series where we had 4 straight turnovers, and I think the Wiz got about 9 points off of that. So it killed what momentum we had built up by building that huge lead, and we let them get back into the game. It was just sloppy offense, not paying attention, going up there, taking a quick shot without having anybody under the rim. And all Sixers are guilty of doing this, especially JJ. JJ does it a lot. He did it against Miami when they went on that huge run. He would go up down there. He wouldn't waste the shot clock at all, and he would just jack up a quick shot. You don't want to do that, dude, especially when you have a big lead going into the fourth quarter. You want to milk as much time off the clock. You figure you would know that being in the league for so long. It's just the simple mental mistakes that we're still trying to figure out. And we're in the 8th spot right now. They're 26 and 25. We beat the 4th seed in the East. Now, you're looking at the East. It's not what it used to be, guys. It's become very strong now. At the beginning of the season, I thought maybe going 42 and 42 to easily get us in there. I don't think that's the case. You look at the East; it's pretty strong. We're only 26 and 25 when we're the eighth seed. But guys above us, the Heat are the seventh seed. They're only 3 games ahead of us. They got 29 wins, and we got to look out for the Pistons. Ever since they acquired Blake Griffin, they're 3-0. They're playing really good basketball. I think that was a great trade for Detroit. They didn't really give up too much, I thought, in that trade. Tobias Harris was a nice piece, and they did get that draft pick. And I'll get into trade deadline and what the Sixers should do, I think, to improve the team, because we're going to need some help too. Not as so much as getting a superstar like that. They haven't had a superstar in so long. Do you really need a superstar to win a championship? I think it benefits you and it's easier to win. But if you remember the Pistons from '04, they didn't have a superstar. It was just good players and a collective team effort. There was no superstars on that team. But they finally acquired one from the Clippers. I didn't think they threw the farm at them, so to speak, to get him. I thought it was a great trade for Detroit. They got a superstar, though. He plays well with Drummond because he played with DeAndre so many years. It's just a younger version of DeAndre. So, of course, I thought they were going to gel well together, which they have. He's just a younger, more athletic DeAndre. And they've put wins together. They've got a solid squad. And Stan Van Gundy, I think it's an underrated coach. So they're clipping at our heels. So we got to continue to win these ball games. And we can't lay down against these scrub teams like the Brooklyns, the Phoenix Suns, the LA Lakers. We got to be walking on these teams if we want to get into the playoffs this year. Now, we've shown we can play with the big boys. We beat Miami Heat. We beat the Wizards, even be it as it may if they were understaffed. Not having John Wall in there is huge, but they are still a very good team without him. Bradley Beal kills us every time, with the perimeter defense and the offensive rebounds tonight. There was 2 plays tonight where he jacked up a 3 and got his own rebound when you had all the Sixers just looking at it. It's just stupid, simple mistakes where they do not box out and they get a little lackadaisical, and it's frustrating. We were able to pull out the win, though. We played some good ball towards the end there. Got a little hairy, but we were able to pull out and close out the win. Ben got the steal to finish it off. But if our stars don't do it every night, we're going to be screwed. We need a bench. We need to strengthen our bench is what we need to do. Now, there's been trade talks of the Sixers acquiring Tyreek Evans. And there's been rumblings about Marco Bellinelli, Kemba Walker. Here's what I'll say. Would Tyreek Evans improve our team? Absolutely. He can score the basketball. Problem is, he is an unrestricted free agent after the season. So are we willing to give up draft picks to acquire this guy? There's no guarantee he's going to sign with us next season. So I had read that Memphis wasn't going to make the deal unless there was a first-round pick involved. Okay, so are we willing to give up our first-round pick this year, which is probably going to be in the teens, maybe a little lower depending on where we finish. It's not going to be a high pick this year, though, for a rental for a half a season. I would say no. Tyreek Evans, I'm not a big fan of. Never have been. He can't really shoot the basketball. He's improved over his years being in the NBA. When he was coming out, he was a straight dog. He could just handle the rock, and he could get to the tin at will. He's got great ball handling skills, and he can attack the basket. That's what he does well. Like I said, he's improved his shooting. He's never been a superior knockdown jumper. He's not good from three-point range, which we need. We need guys that can shoot the rock. And I would not want to go after Tyreek Evans. For a rental, like I said, he makes a very reasonable salary at only $3 million, so that's great. But I'm only reaching out to the Grizzlies and giving up a first-round pick if we talk to his agents and they can guarantee us he's at least going to sign with us for another 2 to 3 seasons, 2 to 3 years at a reasonable price, at $3 million a year or whatever it's going to be. Okay, so that's my argument for Tyreek Evans. Another thing, he's injury prone. The past 3 seasons, he's played 14 games. He played 24. He's never played a full 82-game season, ever, in his career. So that's a huge question mark. The guy is always hurt, and he was hurt with the Grizzlies now. That's why they're holding him out until the trade deadline to see whoever they can get for him. So that's kind of where it me. I don't want to get another injured guy on this team. We have enough of that as is. So that's a big red flag for me. Okay? If we're going to be giving up a first-round pick, I'm trying to acquire Kemba Walker off the Charlotte Bobcats, the Charlotte Hornets. Do whatever it takes to get him. First round pick, fine, give it to him. The guy would really, really help this team out. We'd have another ball handler on our squad. He can shoot. He can pass. He's averaging 22 a game this season. He's got great vision. He can split defenders. He can suck in the defense, open up for other guys around here. He can shoot. He's got a nasty mid-range game. He can even stretch it out to three. He's increased that. He's not a prolific three-point shooter, but he's above average, I'd say. I think he's about 33% from downtown. But he can split defender. He reminds me of Al Iverson to a T. I mean, he's a smaller guy, but he's a little bit bigger. He can just get to the tin, though. He can split defenders. He can get guys to foul him to get three-point plays. I mean, he's a straight beast. If you guys didn't see what he did back at UConn and led that team all the way to a national championship, he's just special. And Charlotte, he's making $12 million a year, which I still think is not that much money. I still think that's very affordable. He's only 26 years old, and he's under contract for the next 2 years. He's not an unrestricted free agent until the 2019 season. So we have more control with him there if we do try to trade him. The Hornets are floundering. He's been there for years. I don't see them going anywhere. They're 23-30 now. I think they might not want to, Jordan should look at the situation, figure Kemba might be here for another 2 years, and then he's going to walk. Then where are they going to be at? They tried to build around him. Dwight Howard's been there. They gave Batum all that money a few years ago. They drafted Frank Kaminsky out of Wisconsin. It's just they just haven't been able to do anything. They haven't been able to put wins together. Is it their coach? Whatever it may be, they've got talent on that team, and they just can't seem to put it together. So I'd call up Michael Jordan, offer him a first-round pick, maybe throw in 2 seconds or a player, whoever we have on their squad. I don't know if we could try to dump Bayless. I don't know if he would want him. But Charlotte likes to surround their players with three-point shooting. Jared Bayless, before he got here, was a prolific three-point shooter. We got to try to dump his salary at some point. Involve him in any type of trade, even if we do try to acquire a Tyreek Evans, which I really hope we don't. I would just pursue Kemba Walker as hard as possible. We need that oomph off the bench. He's young. He's under control for the next few seasons. I think it's a perfect match. And then, you're saying when Foles gets back, I think these guys can play together. I think he can learn under Kemba Walker. I just think it's a great situation for us. So try to call the Hornets, see what we can to try to acquire Kemba Walker. I don't think it's going to really take multiple first-round picks because of their situation. And just try to get Kemba Walker. We need more firepower off the bench. If we can't get Kemba and Jordan wants to ask for multiple first-round picks or whatever it would take, if it was Markelle Fultz, obviously Ben Simmons and Embiid are untouchables. And so you go to another option, maybe like an older player, like a Lou Williams. Sweet Lou I'd love to have back on this team. Or a Marco Bellinelli. It's not going to take as much to acquire these guys because they're older and their contracts aren't as big, so on and so forth. I'm not sure how much Bellinelli's making this year. I don't think it's that much. I would think it would be around the respectable 3 to 5 range. And Sweet Lou, he's in their starting lineup right now. The Clippers, they're just trying to get people's butts in the seats. So they're in a rebuild mode. It wouldn't make sense to have a 31-year-old point guard over there. He's not really going to make or break, try to win games for you. They're in a total rebuild mode. Try to get Sweet Lou back here. We just got to get guys that can create their own shots. Kemba can do that. Tyreek can do that, but he's injury prone, and Sweet Lou can do that. And they can all light it up at the drop of a hat. You just need more offense, just so you don't have to lean on your three, your Embiid, your pillars, and Simmons so much, and Dario. Because when those guys are having an off night, or Ben's not being aggressive, or Embiid is not on the block and he falls in love with the three, sometimes Dario just doesn't have it where his jumper is just not going down, and he loses confidence. You're screwed. Our bench is so weak. Justin Anderson's, these guys are complementary players. They cannot create their own shots. They have to have other guys create it for them. They could get steals off the defense or what have you, but we need another prolific scorer on this team. Kemba Walker or Sweet Lou would be perfect, but they got to be able to shoot. Got to be able to create their own shot, and those guys fit that bill. So Colangelo, please get on the horn and try to make a move before the trade deadline. I've heard links from Dwayne Dedman. We don't need another big, so please do not pull a freaking BC move and just bring in a random player like that, another big. We don't need another big, okay? We've got plenty. We're paying Amir Johnson $11 million to throw those screwball threes up there. Okay? No. Do not go after Dwayne Dedman. The city will freak out. The Sixers need more scoring off the bench, and it needs to be more shooting. The Pistons are clipping out our heels right now. They made that huge deal. We got to fire back and make another deal. Doesn't have to be crazy. I'm just praying we do something at the deadline and don't just let it pass. Because if we continue on this road, I don't see us making the playoffs. I hate to say that, but it's not going to happen. We're just going to fall short at some point. Because we're relying on the starting lineup to do so much. You need to be able to be a deep team to be successful in this league. We've seen it. We're a smart fan base. So I'm praying to the basketball gods. I know all your prayers were answered this year. It was in the stars for the Eagles. It was fantastic. Great year. Great team win. So now it's time for the Sixers to do the same thing. We need a Howie Roseman to rub off on Brian Colangelo. We need some sweet moves like that, some sweet deals. He should be taking notes. Something. I'm just hoping we don't have another year to where we wait like we did with Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor, so on and so forth, and nothing happens. And with Fultz, apparently he's got some disease to where he has to reteach his muscle memory. That's what's happening with him. I saw a fan ran into him down at the parade, and he had asked him what was wrong with his jumper, and he responded to the fan that the shit's broke. So there's no confidence in the kid. I know he's probably frustrated. It's some weird disease that he has. I don't know the technical term for it, but it basically spells that he has to reteach his body and his muscle memory how to shoot. It's like when you get into a car accident or a motorcycle accident, you got to reteach yourself how to walk, how to do things, or after you have a stroke. Same thing. You got to reteach your body how to do the simplest things like walk, learn how to eat, so on and so forth. So this kid's going to basically have to reteach himself how to play basketball and how to shoot. Now, his drive game looks completely fine. It's just that shot. God, it looks bad. But I'm hoping Markelle can get everything good, get his confidence back, be able to get that muscle memory back. He's not coming back this season, so everybody should stop getting their hopes up. We got to wait on Markelle. We're redshirting him. We're going to wait for him next season. That's even why it's more imperative to make this trade to get the Kemba Walker. I think Kemba Walker would be a perfect fit with the Sixers. He would be at the top of the list for players to acquire that would benefit the Sixers. Because if we get Kemba to team him with Embiid and Ben Simmons and with the homie, I think we could make a deep playoff push, honestly. It would just benefit the team so much to acquire a player of his caliber. So, we will see. Tyreek Evans, cheaper rental. I'm not trying to cheap out here. I'm trying to pay the money to get what we deserve. You get what you pay for, so they say. So we will see. Great win. We got to get ready for Friday night. We're facing the Pelicans. Anthony Davis, Boogie Cousins won't be on that team. Our old buddy Drew Holiday will be returning. After Boogie went down with the Achilles heel, that's a huge blow to them, but they're in the 8th seed as well. They're 28 and 25. They're going to be a tough team to beat. So we got to bring our A game. They acquired Mirotic, so that guy seems to have a great game against us all the time. So we faced him against the Bulls. He had a huge game. He's probably going to have the same thing against us. So got to study some tape, learn how to shut him down. Anthony Davis is a freak, one of the top 3 players in the NBA. Embiid's going to have to be able to lock him down. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a fun game, though. Sixers got to continue to build and keep winning. And then we got the Clippers game after that on Saturday. So we will get to see the new and less improved Clippers. Team we should be able to beat, though. Parade's on Thursday again. Trade deadline's around there, too. Hopefully something happens in between then. All right, guys, it's Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. I'm out. Peace.